Hello and welcome to the ScrapbookPal's YouTube channel. My name is Terry and today I am sharing this fun card that I created using some products from PinkFresh Studio. So let's get started. So here is a close-up look at the products that I will be using. This stamp and stencil set is called Botanical Bunch, and it does come with a coordinating die, but for this card I am only using the stamp set along with the layering stencil. To start off my card, I am going in with white cardstock, and I'm going in with the stamp set at an angle towards the bottom of the cardstock. I like placing stamps, the florals and images towards the corner of my cardstock just to create a different type of focal point. So since the flowers here are towards the bottom left of the cardstock, it creates a different focal point onto your card panel instead of having it smack dab in the middle. So now I'm going in with a clear embossing ink, and I am using Versamark ink here, and I'm applying that onto the cardstock. I did have to go in twice just to make sure that I had a good impression. I then went in with gold embossing powder and applied that towards the stamp image. Then going in with my heat tool, I used that to heat set the image. Okay, so now is the fun part. I love using layering stencil because it makes it so much easier to color. If you're not into coloring, this is perfect for you. So each layer of the stencil, you can use a different color ink. So here you can see that the first layer, I'm going in with a soft pink color from PinkFresh Studio. And I'm making sure to get all of the open areas on the stencil. Then going in with the second layer, I went in with a purple shade from PinkFresh Studio and making sure to apply that all over the open areas of the stencil. If you notice, I am using the Make Art station, and I love this magnetic station because it helps hold my stencil in place. All that you have to do is secure the stencil down with the magnetic circles that come with the product, and it holds its place very nicely. So I went ahead and repeated the same process to each layer of the stencil using a different color ink pad. As you can see here, I am sticking with PinkFresh Studios ink, and you know what? I think that's the hardest part with this. You're not doing a lot of coloring, but selecting the colors and deciding which ones to use with the layering process is the hardest part for me. There's just so many different options you can do. And if you're not familiar with my work or you don't follow me on Instagram or my YouTube channel, you don't know that I love to color and I love using alcohol markers. So using the layering stencil and using ink pads instead of Copic markers or alcohol markers was a little different for me, and I really enjoyed it because it saved a lot of time. When I'm coloring an image, that takes me over an hour probably, and this card was made in less than an hour, which was nice actually. I like the change of that. If you're intimidated by the layering stencils, don't be. It's actually quite easy to line up the stencils with the stamp image. Like I said earlier, the hardest part about this is selecting which colors to use. Okay, so after I finished using the layering stencil, I went in with one of my grid stencil, and I'm using some of the same colors as I did earlier for the Botanical Bunch, and I'm just inking that over the stencil lightly. I wanted it to give a little bit of interest to the background instead of just leaving it all white. Okay, and after that was completed, I like going in with my Gina K's Master Layout Die Set 1. And I used a smaller rectangle to cut my ink blended panel. And the second rectangle, I used that to cut out of black cardstock because I like to create a mat behind my card panel. Okay, so now it's time to adhere that together. So I went ahead and used liquid adhesive and adhered the top panel to the black matted panel. So to create a little more drama, I like to add paint splatters all over my card panel. And I went in with one of the green inks that I used earlier and just tapped that onto an acrylic block and spritz some water onto it. Then using my paintbrush, I went in and splattered that throughout the card panel. And going in with the sentiment, I am stamping one of the sentiments from the stamp set onto black cardstock. And I stamped that down using Versamark ink, and using the same gold embossing powder as earlier, I went ahead and applied that onto the inked area. Then going in with a really hot heat gun, I went in and heat set the sentiment. Then going in with my paper trimmer, I went ahead and trimmed that down to size. I adhered the sentiment onto the card panel using liquid adhesive. And I went in as well and applied the liquid adhesive onto the card panel and applied that onto a top folding gray card base. And that's it. The card is now complete. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and please don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And I would love it if you came on over to my YouTube or my Instagram account at Cloudy Coral Designs. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.